Welcome to the Equinety Podcast, where horse owners just like you share their incredible Equinety stories and how Equinety is changing their horses' lives. Whether you're searching for something to give your performance horse better focus, faster recovery, and more stamina, or in the extreme case where all hope seems lost, give your horse what it needs to help heal at a cellular level, you'll find it here. So jump in on today's episode to hear how Equinety is helping horses worldwide. Now, welcome your host, John Dowdy.
Hello and welcome to this week's Equinety Podcast. We're going to swing up into Tennessee. We've got Marlies' parent on the call this week. She's going to be talking about her 4-year-old Appaloosa. Marlies, welcome to the Equinety Podcast.
Hey, John. I'm really glad to be here.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you, and let's jump right into this. I saw you commenting on some of our ads on Facebook, on some of the ads that we have going, so I reached out to you because I thought your story with your horse was pretty darn interesting and could benefit anybody that might be going through the same thing. So tell us a little bit about how you acquired this Appaloosa and what was going on when you brought him to your place.
More than happy to. I purchased him in March this year, and he was delivered to me from Iowa. Back in that time, they had minus 60 degrees temperatures. It was really cold, and he walked off the floats with 3 blankets, really bundled up. At that time in Tennessee, we were already at 65 degrees. So when he came off, he experienced not only extreme climate change, but everything else that came with it. A new owner, a new pasture, a new stable. Pretty much everything around him changed, and I do believe he had a little culture shock, I would call it, for us humans when we move
right.
to a different place.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was his previous life like?
Well, he was a stable horse. He was stable at night. During the day, I think they did turn him out into the pasture, but he was very well taken care of. He was a halter horse, he was a show horse, and he was babied. He still is to an extent, but in his new home, he's allowed to be more of a horse than anything else. He's a trail horse now, and just living the good life, I hope.
Yeah, hey, that's what they need, right? So what did you start noticing going on? And I think you, as we were previously talking, around 5 or 6 months, you were kind of having some issues and noticed some weight loss going on.
Exactly. I do believe the biggest problem was the diet change that he had. Since he was a show horse, they had him on a very specific diet. They bucket fed him most of the time since he was stabled. And when he came here, he turned out into the pasture, and that was pretty much it. I noticed he started losing a lot of weight because vegetation over here obviously is different as well. So when I started worrying about his weight, I started looking up online things, and at one point, Equinety popped up on my newsfeed on Facebook. So I started looking at the pictures. I started looking at the reviews, did some more research online about it, and I figured, well, there's not much I can do wrong. If it helps, great. If not, I guess I'm just going to have to look for something else or something more to help him fight not only the weight loss, but also an extreme case of rain rot that he acquired because he wasn't shedding after he moved from that cold environment to the relatively early hot environment over here. So I ordered the product and I gave it a shot.
Yes, and in addition to that, you his hooves were also pretty brittle too, weren't they?
Yes, they were fairly soft. He's got 4 white hoofs, and they were soft. And my fairy also said, try to put some oil on it and treat it, and there's this and that and the other. But once I put them on the Equinety, it just literally fixed all the issues that I had with him within a fairly good amount of time too. His rain rot went away within Don't make me lie. Within about 4 weeks,
Yeah.
it is a pretty straining process. If you don't cut them down, and you got to scrape everything off, and it's kind of a pain. But it took care of that within a short amount of time. His hoofs got way harder, more solid. His fur turned into absolutely beautiful, shiny. And since he's in Appaloosa, he's what we call a snow cap. So he's brown up front, and he's got a white rear end. And it was amazing. Like, his fur was beautiful during the summer, minus the minor mud flaps that he had.
Right. Yeah. Now, and what did your farrier think about the quality of the hooves after being on the Equinety for, what did you say, 4 to 6 weeks by that time?
Yeah, something like that. And he loved it. I actually got him to purchase it,
to
be honest.
Nice.
Yeah, he absolutely loves it. He's never seen a change in hoof set quickly. And it even helped. I have a friend, she's got her horse standing there too, and she had an abscess. So my friend was using the Equinety on her mare for a couple of weeks, and the abscess just disappeared so quickly. She stopped limping and starts walking properly again. So I mean, it's a miracle product, to be honest.
Well,
and I don't talk like that about a lot of things.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, we have heard. I tell people it's not a miracle supplement, but it sure does some miraculous things. And for those tuning in for the first time, what this product is, it's 100% pure amino acids. There's no fillers, no sugars, no starches. There's no loading dose. Serving size is 5.2 grams, so not quite a tablespoon. But the amino acids are specifically formulated to give the body what it needs to stimulate the pituitary gland, which releases the necessary hormones which help heal the body at a cellular level. So in what we're talking about here, rain rot, brittle hooves, the coat ended up being, a lot softer, shiny. And how about with the weight loss that was going on, and you even tried to mimic the diet that he previously had, but what's happened with weight gain and things like that now that it's been, since May of this year, so about 8 months total that we've been on this? How's he doing now? Weight gain, looking, feeling, demeanor, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he's doing absolutely amazing. He's gained some great winter weight. I like him a little chunkier during the winter.
Yeah,
Since there's not much out there to eat, and we kind of have to supplement with a whole bunch of other stuff. He is happy. He's finally kind of included himself into the band, where he was rather a loner in the beginning. So that's a great thing. And what I noticed too, in the beginning, he's kind of accident prone.
Need to be bubble wrapped, does he?
Yes. I was thinking that. I actually saw somebody wrapping their horse in bubble wrap. Yes, he's one of those. And his scratches and all that he kind of obtains throughout the days heal very, very quickly. I technically don't even need an external ointment for them anymore. It takes a day for it to just close up, and it's amazing. I don't know what else to say it.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to show the healing process. And in all the phone calls and emails and feedback that we receive, I would say in every single scenario where we're talking about an injured horse, and whether it be cuts, scrapes, or you get into tears, even with ligaments and tendons and deep flexor tendons and muscles and things, when they're using the Equinety, they have seemed to always heal ahead of schedule, and whatever that schedule is. As long as they don't re-injure themselves, obviously. But in those scenarios, they always do heal ahead of schedule. So, which is great.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. So he is now just loving life.
Yes, he is. He's out in the pasture, and probably today getting wet because it's raining. But I'm pretty sure that the rain rot's going to stay away.
That's great. Yeah. Now, I'll ask you this question, because you've been around horses for many, many, many years, and somebody tuning into this, and maybe they're bringing a horse into a new environment like what you've done, and they're thinking, well, of course a horse is going to acclimate over 8 months or 7 months or whatever. I mean, what other option do they have? But, with your opinion, based on your experience, do you feel that by adding the Equinety product helps speed up that process? Or what's your opinion on that or your thoughts?
I definitely do think that it helps. Like I said, he went from being completely on the bucket fed diet with a whole bunch of different supplements and oils and grains and things like that to a pasture-only horse and diet. So I do believe it definitely helped him acclimate to that new diet. I did feed him a little bit of weight gainer as well because he lost rapidly. He lost about 200 pounds in the first 3 months, which was extreme.
Right.
And that on the summer pasture. So with a little weight gainer and the Equinety, he just bounced back within about 3.5, 4 months, all the weight loss that he had. So I'm definitely saying that it was a big part of him adjusting quicker and his intestinal system to adjust better to the new diet that he's going to live on.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's important for people to know too. I mean, it's not like, hey, this is a miracle thing. You just add this and it fixes everything. I mean, you were doing everything that you felt like you needed to do on your side, and this just enhanced and sped up a lot of things that you were already doing. So I think that's important as well. Now, for anybody that's tuning in for the first time that might be a little skeptical about this whole Equinety thing, what was, and you may have mentioned this earlier, but what was your take? How skeptical were you, and what advice would you give to them to go ahead and give the product a try?
I was very skeptical because there's so many products out there that everybody is trying to sell. They're trying to make money, which is kind of understandable, but every horse owner has the worry, is what I'm giving my horse the right thing for my horse? Is it going to not just improve it? Could it possibly be hurtful? You never know,
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely was very skeptical. The price kind of, in the beginning took me back too, but thinking about that one little case lasts for 3 months because the portion is really itty bitty. And when I got that little scoop out, I was like, okay, well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. I know you're like, this little tiny scoop does everything. Yeah.
Yep. And it definitely does. It's very surprising and very convincing. Definitely convincing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for as quickly as it works, I mean, that surprises a lot of people as well. This product actually does start working in 24 hours. It's just a matter of how quickly you can begin to see the changes. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So. I mean, I've seen, from him going from a dull coat because of the rain rot and everything that he went through. And, I think he was also stressed, obviously, the change, new people, different horses. He had to be outside, it was definitely stressful. And I do believe it did help him as well with his, stress and anxiety to manage that as well.
Right.
He became quite fast, really mellow, and enjoyed actually even being by himself. It didn't bother him being by himself. And so I'm really grateful for the product. I'm definitely a lifelong member now. So.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you on board, and especially to share your story here. We appreciate it. Marlies Parent out of Tennessee, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story here on the Equinety Podcast.
You're very welcome. It was great talking to you.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's all for this episode of the Equinety Podcast. For more information on purchasing Equinety, be sure to visit our website at teamequinety.com, where you'll also find product information as well as more testimonials on how others have seen amazing results by implementing Equinety into their horse's supplement regime. We'll have more stories on how Equinety is helping horses worldwide right here on a future episode of the Equinety Podcast.